We are so proud to partner with the National Concealed Carry Association as a 10-ring partner. NCCA exists to serve the Second Amendment community by providing a nationwide network of 2A advocates, offer elite self-defense and concealed carry training from the nation's top instructors, and provide rock-bottom prices on the best selection of gear and accessories. You can learn more about them at nationalconcealedcarryassociation.com. So our guest, Christopher Rodriguez from the Oceanside Councilman, is on the air.
Yep. City Councilman from Oceanside, Christopher Rodriguez. How you doing, man?
Hey, evening, gentlemen. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm doing good. Just enjoying the family. I took my sons out, and we had a good time. So just ending the evening with your show. I appreciate it.
Well, that's awesome. And you are a veteran, right? You were in the Marine Corps?
Yes, sir. Hoorah. Marine Corps veteran, 2 combat tours in Iraq. And so I appreciate what we have here in America, that American dream and our Constitution and our rights to bear arms. And so, yeah.
So tell me before we talk about HR 127, what does Memorial Day mean to you?
Oh, Memorial Day means so much to me. That day is completely committed to the brothers that I personally knew who gave their life for what we have here in America. And I tell my sons their story. I show them their picture. I call my brother's family, the mom, the wife, and I tell them I'm sorry each year. And it means a lot.
Wow.
It means a lot. We gotta honor our fallen, our brothers and sisters. And that's what tomorrow's all about, is to honor them and to bring honor to them and to bring honor to their families.
Wow. That's amazing, Chris. Thanks for sharing that.
It's not just a long weekend.
No, sir.
Yeah, like Kamala Harris there said. All right, so tell us about HR 127. What don't you like about that bill?
Everything, personally, but there's there's definitely some important bullet points that really got under my skin, because I represent a lot of veterans, a lot of responsible gun owners here in Oceanside, and this would dramatically impact their lives. Half my city is 55 and older, and on fixed incomes, if they have to pay for a government-issued insurance policy, they may not be able to own a weapon anymore and protect themselves. There's that dynamic. There's the dynamic of a government individual psychiatrist that has to interview you through a psychological evaluation, including any ex-spouses. That's a nightmare.
Yeah,
and,
I wonder how people
are going to look for something.
I wonder how people. I've been talking about HR 127 quite a bit, and usually if I'm in front of a group, like we just had our monthly meetings last couple of weeks, and I would ask people, raise your hand if you have an ex-spouse, and half the room would raise their hand, and I said, okay, now keep your hand up if you think that your ex-spouse would be a really good source to ask if you should own a firearm. And, miraculously, all the hands go down. I can't believe that it's a real government proposal, to say, hey, we need to talk to your ex-spouse on whether or not you get to exercise your rights. So
it's just out of this world. It's such an infringement. And then you have the privacy dynamic where, if you're in a state like California, where the database is managed and ran by the state attorney, and it's accessible by the public. So everybody in my neighborhood, the good guys, the bad guys, know how many guns I have, and they're going to know if my neighbor doesn't. And that's unacceptable. It's totally unacceptable. And so this HR 127, we needed to send our Congressman Mike Levin, the 49th Congressional District, our opposition. We need him to stand up for the thousands upon thousands of responsible gun owners, and we need to focus our energy on going after the bad guys. And
so what did you do? So HR 127, horrible bill. It's bad from soup to nuts. What did you do? How did that make you? What actions did you take?
I think I kind of laugh when we say, I wrote a letter, it's like, wow, great. But I think more importantly is we're getting the public involved. We're making them aware. Yes, we're writing a letter. We had a unanimous vote in opposition. Even our Democratic mayor saw that this is a bipartisan nightmare. And even she saw how much it infringed on our Second Amendment right. And so she supported it. That sends a strong message to the media, to our constituents, to Mike Levin, to Washington. And we need as many locals to step up, email, call their congressmen, and tell them to oppose this bill. And I think that's what it's all about is all of us coming against this complete infringement on our constitutional right to bear arms.
Yep. I was there at the city council meeting. You invited me to be there and speak, and I very much appreciate that, Chris. It was I gave my statement. But one of a really interesting statement that night was by your chief of police, who was invited there to speak. And he said, correct me if I'm wrong, but he said there were 108 incidences in the last year where a criminal was arrested with a firearm or used a firearm in the commission of a crime. And out of those 108 incidences, not one single time was the gun registered to the criminal. Was that the gist of what he said? Yes,
100%. That was you said it right on. You hit it right on the head. And so it just shows you 100% of those guns taken off the street were illegally obtained, or ghost guns, or weren't registered, to the individual. And so it just goes to show you these vain efforts to punish and infringe on the rights of us responsible gun owners is doing nothing to stop the criminals. And we really got to get back to focusing on stopping the criminals and not
your
responsible gun owners.
Your top police officer there in Oceanside, the guy you guys just appointed him fairly recently, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he seems like a really good guy. Oceanside's a fairly big town. You guys have a big police force, and that guy has a lot of experience. And he said that no, this is not going to help in any way. Basically, criminals don't follow laws. So every time they put up some kind of ridiculous law that's going to further impact the law abiding, because they're the ones that actually follow laws. You risk chipping away at the ability every year. Hundreds of thousands, some surveys show millions of people every year use a firearm to make sure that they don't get attacked. They're to stop a violent attack, a rape, a murder, a violent assault. Hundreds of thousands of times per year. Some surveys show millions of times per year. So if you discourage this, if a law is out there that discourages the sane, trained, law-abiding from being able to own and carry guns, then what you're doing is chipping away at their ability to defend themselves, and that doesn't get talked about enough. I think that you did a fantastic job. I saw your interview on KUSI talking about this. How do you feel the media coverage was for what you guys did?
I think it's been pretty good. I've read a couple articles. I've seen the interview. In the end, we just got to get the word out. If we had 100 people from that interview that actually read this bill and read bullet points, they're going to get on the same page with it. This is a bipartisan issue. We just need to get individuals aware of what's going on in Washington. A lot of times it gets lost in the translations, and individuals like you with San Bernardino County Gun Owners, elected officials, it's our responsibility as advocates, as representatives of our community to get this information out, get as many people on board with it as possible. Otherwise, they're going to sneak stuff like this through, and it's going to greatly impact the future of our country.
Well, Chris, let me ask you a question. I mean, when you're talking to the people that back this bill, how do they defend it?
Oh, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to look at the facts. They don't want to read the fine print in comparison to our clear, Bill of Rights and constitutional rights as Americans. They don't want to. They want to disarm Americans.
Right.
That's their goal.
Yeah,
they want to disarm law-abiding Americans.
That night at the city council meeting, there were only two people in opposition, and both of them, it boiled down to I'm paraphrasing, but it was gee, we have to do something. None of them could defend this on its merits. This thing is so extreme. It's so extreme. It would negatively, fundamentally change firearms ownership. I mean, it is such an affront to the Second Amendment. There's every reason in the world to oppose this.
Now, I've said this 100 times, and these guys have all heard me say it because I work at KUSI, and a politician came in. I won't mention his name, and I walked up to him, and I knew he was anti-gun. And I said, you know what, man, I'll make you a deal. I'll give you my 9mm and I'll give you my Mossberg on one condition. He goes, what's that? That you spend 6 months taking guns away from the criminals. And I'll give you my guns. He looked me dead in the eye and said, you know how difficult that would be? There's no way we could do that. And I said, well, then what are you doing coming after me? And he turned around and walked away.
And that's why you never voted for Barack Obama.
That's exactly right. But I mean, he was as honest as the day is long, and I think that's the general consensus. They don't want to put the effort in. They don't want to fund the police to go after these people. And as long as you just let it go, just let it go, it's never going to get corrected.
Yeah. So, Chris,
no, and I appreciate. Michael kind of brought a different element into my mind, especially on a local level, and that's with respect to, lower income, minorities, communities of color, where, they own a gun and they may not be familiar with this new law. And their house is searched for or whatever, and they find a weapon. Now this individual is subject to hundreds of thousands in fines, 15 years in prison. This is greatly going to impact our communities of color to be, sent to prison for things that should be protected because of our Constitution.
Well, congratulations on defeating H.R. 127. Everybody needs to talk about it. If you got a website people can go to, I'm sure it's there and people can read it.
Yeah, yes, sir. OceansideMatters.com.
You're the man. Have a good one, buddy, and thank you very much for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks for watching this clip from Gun Owners Radio. You can watch us live every Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. California time, right here on our YouTube channel, or if you're in the San Diego area, you can listen to us on 1170 a.m. We're also available on your favorite podcast platform for free. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can help restore and protect the Second Amendment, not just in California, but across the country.